Good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? I have been, I'm going to give you guys a little warning. I have been sick the last week and haven't really been getting better. So just bear with me. I just have a horrible cold and we'll just make do, right? That's just one of the things that you have to do when you're a business owner, right? You just got to continuously show up. No,
You'll
I
be all
love
right,
it.
Laurel. Oh, sorry you're sick. You're
Thank
amazing.
you. Yeah, no, it's one of those things. I don't feel awful. I just sound awful and snot might just at any point go all over the screen, but it happens. Um, so as you can see, we've got a small group and that's why I didn't invite anyone outside of Momentum or Lean on Laurel to this call. Usually I sell the blitz and I sell it out, but I really wanted to make sure that you guys for the next 3 days really had a lot of my attention to help you guys get through this because this is some of the most important parts of making ads work for you, right? So, and we can unmute ourselves. And like I said, we have a very small group here. It's going to be a very off the cuff 3 days where we're just going to literally roll up our sleeves and just kind of get to work. So I'm just going to start with like a very, very basic question. Who here has been struggling to get their offer to convert? Or is the issue that you haven't been able to talk to enough people to even know whether or not your offer is converting?
Yeah,
What's
I'm
the,
finding that
for
I'm not
most,
able to talk to enough people. Yeah.
you're not talking to enough people?
Yeah, at the moment, I mean, I've got little groups I can go and find, but I want to be able to talk to more people if that's okay, because that's where I find I learn so much, Laurel. So that would actually.
Are you talking to your 4 people every single day?
Sometimes not. Well, I can go find more people, but it feels like it's cold. Does that make sense? Because
Right. So I walked Tina and Dan through their most immediate constraint. And we figured out that their most immediate constraint is, not being able to talk to 4 people a day. So what activities have you been doing in order to talk to those 4 people a day?
well, I have a list. Obviously, my hottest leads and my coldest leads, warmest leads, and I've got obviously I've got a massive list of estate agents which I'm not keen to go back to because they don't have the time to record the ads. That's what we were finding
Right.
difficult.
That's not answering my question though,
No,
right?
it's not.
We did the exercise. It's like, hey, in order to reach my goal for the year, we went what needs to go right this quarter, what needs to go right this month, what needs to go right this week, and what needs to go right every single day is we figured out you need to talk to 4 people. If you're not talking to 4 people, what is the constraint that is keeping you from talking to 4 people? Because talking to 4 people is not a lot.
No, it isn't. No, I agree with you.
So
It's a good.
what activities are you doing in order to talk to those 4 people?
Well, we don't have anywhere to go network because I was thinking about going local just to go and hang out, but they're all Spanish people. Most of the people are here Spanish.
So there's a few ways.
Yeah, there are.
What we're doing right now is we're helping out in the $7 group, and people who want more clarity about, want someone to immediately talk to in the group, we just help them out. And some people are interested in help from that, so that's one source of conversations. We're testing
Okay.
conversion.
How many conversations are you guys having with people in the $7 group a day?
Per day. Not consistent. Sorry.
Probably about 4 or 5 a week at the moment, Laurel. And then I've got
Okay.
past.
Are you guys going into other Facebook groups and adding value and answering Facebook ad questions and anything like that?
No, we're not. We're actually
Why not?
focusing
Like
on
you like
retention.
I'm picking on Tina and Dan because they're in Lean on Laurel and I'm just going to push them a little bit here. But do you guys see like you're not doing what you need to do every day? And that's why you're like all you need to do is talk. Who cannot talk to 4 people every day? Like anyone can talk to 4 people a day. Like why are you guys not doing that? I'm going to crack the whip here a little bit because that's literally like the lifeblood of your business. All you have to do is talk to four. What the fuck are you guys doing with your day?
That's a good question. We just kind of like make sure that all the clients that we have, we're probably doing more than we need to for the people who come in. We kind of use your strategies to make sure they're getting results and they're talking to people, and what you're teaching us, we take that to them rather than look after ourselves. But it's a good question. I mean, I want to go local, and I want to go talk to local people because lots of ideas. So should I just
why are you not just walking outside your door and going talk to local people?
Well, right here, there's not many people with businesses, but I'm going to. Yeah, that's a good idea. So,
girl, I only have 5 businesses on my
Spanish ads.
Every single week. I'm going talk to all these business. Like I'm very active in I'm actually on the city council. Did you guys know that? Like I'm on the city council in my city. Like I get involved. Like why do I do? I'm a part of the chamber in every single city that I live in. Like I am very active. Like if my online shit went away, I would be okay.
Yeah.
Because of the stuff that I do outside. And I think this is a great way to begin this call. And thank you, Tina and Dan, for being such great sports. And, it's one of these things that we have to ask ourselves, why are we not doing the thing that we need to do? Like we know like most of the people in the room right now probably know what we need to do, but we're just not doing it. Right? Like if you talk to 4 people every single day, multiply that by 365.
A lot. Yeah, that's like 7,000.
Right? Like that's a huge
420 40.
Yeah, that's a huge thing. Yeah.
Big question. Okay, we live in a Spanish city, and we both he speaks Spanish really well. Would you go and run ads for the Spanish people, or would you go to the tourist towns, which are kind of about 20-minute drive away, and go and stick in there, or would you do ads to? I would do
the easiest micro step that you could do to get results right now. Right. Okay. So, and one of the things too, like yesterday, have you guys been listening to my momentum audio drops? I've been trying to be super consistent with them. Yesterday, I talked about force multipliers, and Tina and Dan, what we're talking about right now, the language barrier, right? So my mentor, Nick, every single year, he takes a typing course. Why does he take a typing course? Because if he can type faster, he can get more work done and with less effort, right? That's a force multiplier. Yeah. How long would it take you to learn Spanish to be a force multiplier so that you can go and actually be of service to all of these Spanish speak? That's what I would like if I lived in a predominantly Spanish speaking like destination. I would probably take 30 minutes a day and learn Spanish in order to be able to serve those people. That would be a force multiplier, right?
He already can, Laurel. He went to school here, so I mean, I can communicate in Spanish. So I mean, it was just kind of like I don't know. We were doing online stuff. You know how we compartmentalize stuff, and we were like, should we go in? And then we were like, oh, we're doing UK estate agents, and you said you should focus, and we went, oh, that means we should focus on this UK estate agents. And then I was like, maybe we should go do other things, and we're like, oh, should we? We're supposed to be focusing on UK estate agents. Like you go, you should be obsessed with your clients, and do you know what I mean? So we kind of got obsessed.
Yeah, we should be obsessed with our clients. And if you guys aren't like I know there's some Lean on Laurel students who's not in the Success Finder Vault. I just posted the link in there. But that's actually one of the things, right? Like if we go back to, right, and I want everyone to write this down. These are the 3 things that I do even now where I'm at now. And this has kept my business like popping over the last several years is every single week, right? Tina and Dan just mentioned 2 of the things, right? We always want to identify who are our 10 warmest leads and who are our 10 hottest leads, right? Now, how do we find those people? Well, every single week I go and I talk to 10 people who either joined my $7 program or just 10 people who I became friends with, and I just make an introduction. And so I'm just kind of like having those conversations, and I'm just taking note. Oh, this person has a webinar funnel. That person is either a good fit right now or they will be at some point. So I'm going to take note. And so as long as you know who your 10 hottest and your 10 warmest leads are every single week, you'll never like go dry with clients. But we have to show up consistently and have conversations, right?
Yeah, definitely. And thank you, because I feel like I've just been unleashed knowing that I can go out into my local community and talk to them all again about business.
Yeah, 100%. Like if your most immediate constraint is that you can't talk to 4 people, I would be spending all of my time trying to figure out how do I talk to 4 people every day. That would be I would do nothing else, client fulfillment and then doing that. Like that would be the thing that I'm working on.
Yeah.
Like
Most days I am talking to people.
one of the best lead gen things that I still do this thing today is I will go, like I pay to get access to people who are in Facebook groups who've paid for something, right? So like everyone does the Facebook group strategy and they're like, "Well, I posted value in someone's group." I'm like, "Don't do it that way. Like don't just go into Facebook groups and make it your own post of value. Group owners know what that shit is. We know you're trying to poach our people and we don't like it, right? Here's what I do, and I've never gotten in trouble for it. As a matter of fact, a lot of group owners have reached out to me and they're like, "Wow, can you come in and do a training on that?" And so here's what I do. I get access to some of the best Facebook groups who I know people have paid to get access to. So, yeah, it'll cost you a little bit of money, but I look at all of the ads in my Facebook feed and I'm like, "Okay, this $27 program is solving a problem that I know is going to create an ad problem later on. I'm going to pay the $27 to get access to this to this Facebook community that comes along with that $27 product, right? Like Joel Irway's Power Offer Workshop. That's how I first got into Joel's world. Was I bought Joel Irway's Power Offer Workshop and I was hanging out in the Facebook group. And I literally just would go in there and I would search Facebook ads or YouTube ads. And what that does is that brings up the threads where people are asking for help with Facebook ads. And so I went and answered all of the unanswered questions on Facebook ads. And I didn't just give them short answers. Like I would give them long, in-depth answers. I would even shoot Loom videos and be like, "Hey, here you go. Here's how I'm doing this," to where it like got Joel's attention. Right? But do you guys see
Okay.
like how that can be a super effective strategy for like
Yeah.
if you can identify like 10 Facebook groups, like yeah, you can do the free Facebook groups. Like the ClickFunnels group was one of the best groups that I used to hang out in like all the time. But now I pay to get access to paid programs so that I can get access to those Facebook groups so that I know that those people are serious about trying to solve that problem.
Cool.
Nice.
Thank you. I always
Yep.
feel a bit naughty. I feel naughty doing that, even if we're helping.
Why do
Because
you
I
feel
know,
why do you feel naughty? No one's answering their questions. Like as a matter of fact, most group owners are happy that there's someone in there that because
okay.
most group owners, they're not Facebook ad experts. Like the groups that I'm going in, I'm not going into Facebook groups of Facebook ad experts. I'm going into Facebook groups where people are running funnels because I know if people are running funnels, they need ad help. You get what I'm saying? So there's a difference. I'm not just going to my competitors' Facebook groups.
Yeah.
I'm going into the people who I know actually need my service. And guys, what I just said right there is worth like the price of admission that you guys came in today.
Thank you.
So how to find those quality targeted paid Facebook groups? A lot of them are sitting in your newsfeed right now because they're paid ads. Right? Because a lot of $27, $47 offers come with some type of community. And so I would go and start visiting like who needs the type of stuff that I do and go visit a whole bunch of websites and you'll start to get targeted by a lot of those. Who
Cool.
else
So what?
who else is having issues?
Laurel, hi, this is Emma.
Hey Emma.
I also what I'm doing right now to get clients is I'm doing my 90-day videos, and so far I have been stick with the videos.
Mhm.
And now that I'm on my third week of the videos, I'm planning to go to talk to people. But about the Facebook groups, I don't know how to find Facebook groups where brick and mortar people hang out. I want to work specifically with home improvement groups. I mean, home improvement customers.
Okay. So one of the best places to go is the chamber groups.
Okay,
Chamber of
okay.
Commerce, like I think that is an untapped market so that's what I used to do in Phoenix. Like I literally would hang out in the Phoenix Chamber of Commerce group and I would just sit there and answer questions about Facebook ads and I would show them that simple $5 ad. That's all I would do. I would just like show them this simple $5 ad, and I would friend people who I wanted to work with. And then when I friended people, they would see my content and they would start conversations with me.
Okay. Okay. I like that idea about finding the 4 people per day, talking to 4 people per day. I'm going
Mhm.
to do that. Either I want to go and visit the place or making phone calls, because I heard that you don't like making cold calls.
Cold calls work really well. That's just not my jam.
Okay. Okay.
I'm an in-person person. Like cuz I know if I can walk in, I'm very social, and so like I can walk in and talk to someone, and generally people will listen to me. The phone, it's a little bit harder for me because I'm not really a salesperson, so whenever you're cold calling on the phone, you have to be really good at sales because there's a lot of elements over the phone that they don't that's missing that you have in person. So that's why I like in-person stuff. And, have you thought, Emma, of hosting, inside your own community, like wherever you live? Like that's what I used to do in Phoenix. I would host these social savvy Saturdays, and I would just I lived in one of those swanky high-rise apartments, and I would just like invite people to the clubhouse on Saturdays, and I would get Dunkin' Donuts, and I would, do Andre mimosas, right? The cheap Andre champagne, and I would make mimosas because I didn't have a lot of money, right? And
Mhm.
so I would invite them, and I would just teach my Facebook ad strategy, and I would invite anyone local to come in for free. And then I would just say, "Hey, I can take 3 of you guys," and there's usually like 20, 30 people in the room that would show up, and everyone was fighting, tooth and nail to talk to me to get one of those 3 spots for me to do their ads for them.
And how would I spread the word that I'm doing this?
A simple Facebook event and boost it to your local area.
Okay. Because I heard you in one of the videos where somebody, also Nick, suggested to do something like this, like in a coffee shop or something like
Yeah,
that.
100%. Like, I would, a coffee shop is a great place to meet business owners because a lot of business owners do go to coffee shops. And if you're hosting something there, chances are someone just is going to hear what you're doing and they're just going to wander over there and be like, oh, I'm a business owner. I should probably listen in on this.
Okay, okay, okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Thank you.
Yeah. Absolutely. Who else here is having issues getting either conversations or are getting their offer to convert? Kind of like in the chat, everyone tell me, what is the issue that most of you guys are having? Getting your offer in front of enough people or getting your offer to convert? What's the bigger problem for most of you guys sitting in the room right now? You can't not be sure. You either have that you're not getting your offer in front of enough people or your offer isn't converting. You're either selling it to people or you're not getting in front of people to sell it to. Okay, so I'm just going through. Sean's in the same boat as Tina and Dan. Getting above the floor prospects. Okay. Yeah, we'll fix some of that today. Like I said, we've got a small group today, so we can really dig into a lot of this stuff. Getting in front of more people, but it's also my issue. I'm like Tina, just not doing the outreach. Yeah. Kylie, why are you not doing the outreach? What's the most immediate constraint keeping you from doing that?
Sorry, I'm still off camera, but my internet is out.
Oh no.
Um, I know I'm trying to reset my router and everything, so I'm still on my phone. But I kind of resonate with what Tina said about like going into Facebook groups and doing that. But when you reframed it, I also got an aha, so I think that one is good. And it's also like the it's the time and it's BS, right? I'm like, oh, I don't have time to reach. I do. And then also the other thing is when I do make friends on the internet and they find out what I do, then they like want the freebie stuff. Like even this morning, they're like, "Hey Kylie, like what would you recommend for this?" I'm like, and then I give them the information, and then they're like, "Okay, thanks, bye." And I guess I'm tired of that, so I avoid reaching out.
So you're having people just ask you for a bunch of free stuff. Who, like, tell me a little bit about like the people that you're engaging with.
They are people that I've met in paid communities, and I make friends. I'm social, just like you. Um, but when I establish my value, say, hey, this is what I can offer, whatever. Like if someone needs help, I help them. And then it kind of, I don't know where the energy exchange gets lost. I always feel like I give more than what I get. And once that energy gets lopsided,
Mhm.
I just don't want to engage.
Yep.
And
Is
yeah,
is anyone else having that issue where people are asking you for free stuff but they're not moving forward?
mhm.
Okay. No, and this is all part about putting together an offer. So I'm loving this conversation. Um so what we'll do, okay. I love this. Scott just said lots of assholes. Awesome. Um So Shelly says your situation is different since I'm selling low ticket. I'm driving traffic to a free writing challenge. I'm getting good. Okay, cool. Shelly, what we're about to do right now is actually going to help with that issue as well. Um Alex, Alex Carmelli, did you have a question before I get into this next exercise? Either you're muted or your mic's not working, or you're just like, oh, she called on me.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, there we go.
Sorry, I was on headphones. Is this the right place to ask just about like getting in front of more people strategy, or should I wait?
Yeah, let's actually talk. Would you guys want the show me in the chat how many of you guys would want me to chat like after we go through this exercise? We'll talk. Do you guys want to talk more getting in front of people outside of ads strategies to get in front of more people? Would that be helpful?
Okay.
Okay. No, we'll definitely talk about it with ads, but ads is easy, right? It's easy, but it's not simple, right? Because you have to say the right thing to the right person on the ad, right? And so that's what we're gonna talk about. Cool. So this is gonna be helpful, whether or not you want to do this with ads or if you're doing this organically, if you're doing this in person, it's the same thing. Okay. So you guys are going to kill me because you guys have seen this exercise, but I promise you, like, if you guys have any issues with this, we're going to go step by step. And then I'm going to show you guys the flow because I think the problem is you guys are missing the flow. Okay. I'm going to pull the chat out. But feel free to raise your hand because I do want this to be open dialogue. How many of you guys get value when people are like, we're having an actual dialogue versus me talking to chat, right? You guys get lazy with ads. Okay. So the first thing that we have to do, and please, like if you are having issues identifying anything from this exercise, because this right here is key. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify our floor clients and our ceiling clients. Okay. So what this actually means is that our ceiling clients, those are our ideal clients. Like I think of it as these are my easiest clients that I can get the fastest results for, right? So for me, if I get someone who's already running a direct response type ad, they're already spending like 10K plus on ads, they're already getting a 2-3x ROAS, right? These are my ceiling clients. They don't have any issues, spending money. They're already spending a ton of money. And if I just implement just one part of my ecosystem, I can make so much money for these people, right? So that would be my ceiling client. My floor client, these are the people who have a validated offer, which are probably a lot of you guys who are sitting in the room right now. You've got a validated offer, but you're struggling to scale, or you're struggling to sell more. You're selling a little bit, but probably not enough, right? And then there's everyone that's in between, right? But we need to first identify who are our floor clients, right? Because anyone who has never launched ads are not my ideal client. They're like below my floor. So for, momentum or for lean on Laurel, I'm not going to take anyone who's never launched an ad. That's what my $7 program's for. I am not going to take anyone that doesn't have a validated offer. And I'm not going to take anyone who's not making any money at all from their offer, right? So these are the people right here that I want to avoid in my marketing. Does that make sense? We need to be able to clearly identify who are our floor clients and who are our top of the top of the top. Miss Dana, you got a question? Awesome.
Okay, you may answer me real quick. Okay, so sometimes when you're showing these examples, my brain gets a little bit jumbled because mm, number one, my offer isn't a quick offer, right? It's
Mm-hmm.
something that people are learning over time.
Uh-huh.
So that's the first thing. And the second question that I have is
So
not
how long,
just,
let me address the first one. How long does it take?
I would say, it depends on the person, but let's say, for example, someone can write a book. Like I have one client that can write a book in about 3 weeks. And then I have another client that it takes her 6 to 8 months to write a book.
So I will say this for these people right here, it's about a year journey for these clients with a validated offer. Tina and Dan have been with me a little over a year now. Like it takes some time to get like what I'm so it your offer is not that different than mine.
Okay.
But like you said, right, the person who can do it in 3 weeks, that might be your ceiling client. Like what is the differentiators between that person who can do the book in 3 weeks versus the person who's going to take 8 months?
Well, the differentiator is not always my biggest concern, at least if I'm understanding what you're talking about, but I need them, but it depends on like why they're working with me. So the person that is the 6 to 8 month person is technically my ideal client. But it's not about the time or them writing a single book. It's about us building their platform to getting them to a place where they're earning a sustainable $5,000 a month in their publishing business. And so you need several books most times to do that. And so that means that the person who writes faster or can get together and build their flagship series, then the likelihood that they hit that number is a little bit sooner. So she might reach that number in the time where the other person is just maybe having one or two projects written, or that person is they take a little bit longer because they have a full-time job, that type of vibe.
Yeah, absolutely. So honestly, like your ceiling client, like Kylie just like nailed it. Like your ceiling client is probably someone who has started and stopped writing their book because they have a lot of the stuff. They just literally plug into your system and it could probably get done like that. Right? Like
Mhm.
those are the easy. So let me break this down like this, right? So we've got our ceiling and floor clients, right? So if we do this, right? This is someone who doesn't have anything in place, right? And then we're getting them to here to where they're like, "Woo, we're raking in the money," right? There's going to be a journey along the way, right? From getting someone who like for me, right? Like someone might have a validated offer, but they're not making money because they don't have a funnel in place, right? So right here, their first step is we need to get a book a call funnel in place. The next notch right here might be, okay, we need the ads ecosystem to get to fill the holes in the funnel. And then we need something like me and my mentor's framework, the R3, to be able to get retention, referrals, and raving fans, right? So right here, most of my clients that are my ceiling, they're only going to need this part of my program. But these people right here, they're going to start here. So there's going to be more steps. Does that make sense? Because I think a lot of people think that, oh, my ceiling clients, oh, why would they pay me for this, just this part of the program? Well, if they already have everything in place, just this part of the program is going to be an exponential growth in what they're doing from now. Does that make sense? And so that's why I have you guys go through this exercise, because if we do this, right, this is where, cool, what's step 1 of getting that in place? What's step 2? Step 3? Step 4? Step 5? And we do this for each step, right? You guys have seen this. This is the content Bible exercise, right? We're just writing it out instead of doing it in the sheet. Does that make sense, Dana?
It does. And I think one of the things I'm just gonna have to chew on it because I understand what you're saying, and it's just like trying to translate it in what I'm doing. And I a little bit had the ceiling customer. I think I was thinking about the type of customer that I feel like that's my jam. But what you're talking about when you say ceiling is as far as their progression through your process. Am I correct?
Yeah, so think about them. They're the easiest ones that you can get results for. Like if someone hands me $3,000 to set up my ROAS accelerator ecosystem, they don't have any issues handing me $3,000 because I know in the first week they're going to probably get 3 to 4 times that amount of money. If they're already spending $10,000 a month in ads, I can almost guarantee, I don't like to make any guarantees, but I can almost guarantee that they're going to make 3 times their investment within the first week. Because
So
all of that traffic is sitting there. Like if you get someone, think about it this way. If you get someone who's already written a lot of their book and it's already like on several pages of Google Docs, right? You could probably help them within a couple of days get that into a full book, and they would be more than happy. It's not about like the journey, like how long it takes. Like they'll just be like, dude, I'll pay you $10,000 just to finish the book because I've already been working on it for 8 months.
so then it's really about the proximity to the result.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right? Like
Mhm.
honestly, like you said like the people that are, your absolute jam. Like, yeah, these people are my jam, but also these people are my jam. You know why? Because like yes, these are the people that it's easiest to get results for, but these people right here are the most fulfilling for me. Right? Because like these people are already making millions of dollars, but if I can help this person go from having a side hustle to being able to take care of their entire family, it is so much more fulfilling for me.
Mhm. That makes
So,
sense.
because I think people think like floor clients, oh, those aren't our ideal clients. Floor clients to me, I love working with floor clients. It's hard though. It's a lot of hard work. And so I try to like, especially with Lean on Laurel and getting people to fill out the application, I make sure that I have the balance between the ceiling people and the floor people because the floor people will take a lot more groundwork to do.
That's helpful. Because when you were saying it, I was looking at like the characteristics, but if you're talking about in a sense of results or like getting them to the result, that means, for example, someone in my community, I would have originally said, oh, well, that's the floor, community member versus someone that's in my mentorship that I would have thought they were the ceiling. But if we're doing it in relation to results, I could have people that are a ceiling person that's in my community right now.
100%.
Right. Okay. That does make sense.
100%.
Thank
Yep.
you.
And so what we actually need to do, right, now that we have, okay, these are the people who are the floor, these are the people, right, who are going to be more closer to the ceiling client. We need to break all of this down into each of these different steps. Like what is the steps that it takes in order to get an optimized book a call funnel for me personally, right? What are the steps that it takes to setting up my ads ecosystem? What is the steps to getting all of that retention referrals set up, right? Here's the thing that is super important in order to move people through, right? A lot of you guys said that you're having issues because people are taking your free thing, but they're not moving to the next step, right? So here's where that needs to go, right? So let's say this first step right here is closing 20% of sales calls, right? So that is the step right here. And so the problem is that they're only closing 10%, right? That could be a problem. And so what is the mechanism that I'm using in order to take someone from 10% sales calls to 20%? Well, my mentor taught me something that's called the case framework. Okay. So that's the mechanism. The mechanism is a sales framework. It's a mechanism, right? The case is the proprietary name of the mechanism. Okay. So we need to be able to identify all of this. Now, what is a resource that will help accelerate the process of getting this done? Well, I could get them a template that they can plug into Chat GPT to create their own case framework for their next call. Okay. So do you see like all of this information we need for each of these steps, for all 15 steps? We should know this. What is the step that people need to have in place? What is the problem that's keeping them from that step? What is the mechanism? And by the way, the mechanism is not your proprietary. The mechanism is the mechanism of your proprietary methodology. And what is a resource? I'm adding in the resource because this is super important, right? This is where most people go wrong. The resource is going to be your value bomb, okay? So my resource is going to be this case template, okay? Now, there's a couple of things that I like to have in place when it comes to a value bomb in order for this to work out, okay? So it needs to be consumed quickly. This is why I don't like hour-long workshops or anything like that. You want it to be consumed quickly. I like something that can be consumed quickly within 10 minutes. That's not an absolute. Something that could be executed on within 24 to 48 hours. Here's the big thing that people miss, okay? I really want you guys to pay attention to what I'm about to say. After they've consumed this, after they've executed it within 24 to 48 hours, it needs to reveal the next problem. Okay? So, if I'm giving them this case template, right, I need to go through that diagnostic process. So, someone asks me for this case template, right? The first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to tell them why I'm messaging them. It's something that my mentor calls allegiance capital. Hey, Tina, I am messaging you because you requested my case sales framework. I have a couple of different options for you. So, I'm going to ask them a question that's going to be multiple choice. So that's step 2. Hey, I've got a couple of options for people who are in different parts of their sales call journey. Which of the following scenarios fits you best? A, you're not getting enough sales calls. B, I'm getting enough sales calls, but I'm struggling with the conversation. Or C, I'm not struggling with the conversation. I just get wrecked whenever it gets time to make the pitch. What am I doing there? Qualifying. Yes, I'm trying to figure out, right? Because I will say this, most of the people who ask me for my value bomb, that is not their most immediate constraint. And I want to figure out what their most immediate constraint is with this diagnostic question. That is the most important. People think that my value bomb strategy is to give people the value bomb. It's actually not. It's to intercept a conversation with someone who's already a lead. Now, Travis asked a really great question. He says, so how do you create power bombs if they are all part of your higher ticket offer? I give everything away, Travis. There's nothing that I have behind a gate that I don't give away for free. And this is why, like, this strategy works so freaking good. Like, I don't know why more people don't teach this. Like, this is so easy. Like, it's so easy to get clients. But you have to be really good at what you do. Because the point that we're trying to do here, okay? Guys, this is so good. You need this diagnostic. And so my mentor says you just have a ping pong match with them. Right? Because think about this. Even if I give away this sales script, right? That's still they still have all of this part of the journey to do. So I'm not giving anything, like they're still going to need me, and here's why. And this is why this framework is super powerful. So I tell them why I'm messaging them, and then I ask them a diagnostic question, and then I want to ping pong because I want to find out as much about that constraint as possible, right? We want to find out as much about that constraint. So what I will do is I like asking for numbers, because if people give me numbers of their funnel, I can send them a Loom video back. So that's step 4, sending a Loom video back, solving the issue and giving them a solution. Once I give them the solution, I tell them, hey, would it be worth a 15-minute call if I could just walk you through all of those steps personally? But here's the thing that most people miss on these calls. Just like this value bomb, the call has to reveal the next big problem. It's like a freaking ping pong match, guys. Like, just think about that. Like, a lot of you guys are just trying to, like, you know, when someone like just slams the ping pong ball at their opponent and just boom, done. You don't want to do that. You just want to lightly touch, paddle back and forth. So Jasper, no, you don't do that. Jasper, you have missed the entire thing that I just taught. Hopefully you guys were paying attention. Like, I literally just gave you guys gold. Like, people sell this shit for like thousands and thousands of dollars, what I just taught you guys. But they always want you guys to think that there's something missing, right? And that you guys need to like this. Every good setter in Messenger, this is what they're doing. It takes practice, yeah. But you have to truly be good at what you do. Right? You have to truly be good at what you do. I'm going to go Dana, and then I'm going to go Mr. Mike.
Can I ask a follow-up question to make sure I'm tracking where you're going?
Yep, 100%.
Okay. So then I totally get what you're saying, and I'm there. The question then would be, when to back up just like a tiny bit, when you said that you wanted them to be able to quickly consume it in 10 minutes and can execute it on 24 to 48 hours.
Uh-huh.
to reveal the next problem. So
Yep.
and I want to make sure before I ask my question, and that will be going towards the result that we're talking about for our ceiling client, right?
Well, this depends, right? Like you're going to do, like you need to have a flow. Doesn't sound like a lot of work, but you need to have this flow for every single step of your entire process.
Okay, that's good. Okay, I'm good with that. Okay, so then my question then is,
Mm-hmm.
when you say the consume quickly 10 minutes, execute 24 to 48 hours, if I'm talking about a process, that's a writing process, right? So then
Mm-hmm.
would someone like me focus on things like, character or like a specific problem that then uncovers that there is a bigger problem in how they write their
Yeah,
books?
you have to get to knowing exactly what their most immediate constraint is,
Hmm.
because you can't solve their big problem, right?
Right.
So you can't solve their big problem unless you know their most immediate constraint. And so
Gotcha.
we need to figure out what their most immediate constraint is, and that is what we help them solve here in Messenger. Is their most immediate constraint. We don't want to solve their big problem in Messenger. You can't solve their big problem in Messenger.
Right.
Right? So as we're doing like this exercise right here, like all of these steps to like knowing your entire journey, these steps need to be interwoven, right?
Yeah.
Like each of these, we need to know all of this stuff for this one, and then we need to figure out what is the flow for each of those things. That is how well we need to know our offer, and that's how well we need to know our audience. Here's the thing though, once you practice this, it gets easier and easier and easier. Like the other day, like I had a guy in Messenger. As a matter of fact, he joined Lean on Laurel stupid fast. Like Travis asked the question a while ago, what if you're giving, too much away or whatever? So Lean on Laurel pretty much stays on a wait list, right? And so the other day I got this random message on Instagram, and he was from a fitness coach, and he was like, "Hey, I'm in the $7 program. I implemented the ecosystem, but I'm missing this piece." He's like, "For some reason this isn't converting." And I was like, "Oh," I was like, "Actually, I just helped my Lean on Laurel students with this, and I made an SOP for it." I was like, "Here's all the scripts." I literally gave him everything that he needed to execute it on his own. I gave him all of the scripts, the Loom videos for the ad setups. I handed him the SOP, and like he came back to me in Messenger, and he's like, "Laurel," like 3 days later, he's like, "Laurel, that ad sequence literally just 7x'd my ROAS." He's like, "Can you just send me the link? I want to join Lean on Laurel like ASAP." And I was like, "Well," I was like, "because you did the work, I'm just going to put you at the top of the list." And I let him in. Even though I had given him everything that he needed, I gave him the scripts. He got the result. He was like, "Why do you think he wanted to join Lean on Laurel?" Like I gave that guy everything he needed. I gave him the scripts, the Loom setups, right? Shelly nailed it. Like how else? Like, geez, Laurel just gave me this like in Messenger and this worked. Hell, I want to know every trick that she's got up her sleeve to get results, right? That is what we want to happen in this like Messenger exchange. Like we want to freaking blow their socks off to where it's like, holy shit, this person just took the time to talk to me, solved this problem, gave me something that people pay thousands of dollars for, and just like never. And it was funny because he was like, "I'm not used to having conversations like this." He's like, "I kind of feel awkward because you never pitched me." And I was like, "I don't need to pitch people." I was like, I'm just here to, be help. If you guys want to work with me, it's going to happen just like what." And he's like, "The way that I was sold into Lean on Laurel," he's like, "that's how I want my clients to feel." And I was like, inception is one of the best ways to sell something. Yeah, so Liz just asked, how would this work for a local business who does service work for homeowners? Show up every single day, showing the work, right? So think about this. Like Alex Harmozy always uses this example. If you're someone who's like a plumber and you fix toilets all day, literally just post videos of you fixing toilets all day and like coming up with different types of ways that you're fixing toilets and different problems with toilets and all of that stuff. who do you think people are going to be like, man, I sit here and watch this guy fix toilets. If my toilet breaks, who do you think I'm going to go to? Mr. Mike.
Laura, can you hear me?
I can.
Yeah. So I have two questions. The first one has to do with the process you just outlined in terms of providing value bombs and then how to follow up with messenger conversations. So on this one, and I may have asked this in the past, the struggle that I have is that in your specific niche, people can get results whenever they solve a single problem. Let's say that you solve the problem of people not clicking enough on an ad, and you solve that, then yeah, they will get an immediate win, an immediate result. And obviously then they will know that you can help them for the rest of their funnel.
Mm-hmm.
What if you have a process that is not
I already know what you're gonna ask me, because you've asked me this before.
I know, but I'm still struggling with it. I feel like, think about a boat that is attached to a dock and you have 12 knots to untie. You can work all day long, you untie knot number 1, you have made progress, but there's no visible success.
It's because you have to identify all of the micro steps that you need in order to. So if someone comes to you, Mike, my husband has not talked to me for the last 3 weeks that he's walked through the door after work. Are you going to try to sell them on your entire program, or are you just going to give her advice on how to solve that one problem?
Well, that's the thing. So I help people get clarity. The first thing is they need to be
right,
clear.
But answer my question.
No, I got it. You have to provide small wins on small problems. I got it. It's a whole content Bible, right? You take your 3 steps, 5 sub-steps, and then you can offer value bombs or for those 15 pieces of content that you promote with different angles. That I got. What I do feel, or again, maybe just completely subjective, is that what micro problem I have to offer, I know it is necessary for them to get the final result, but it may not feel like a win for them. Like, okay, I need to understand what my needs are, and then I tell them, this is how you define your needs. Okay, but that's not enough. What's
a problem? Because you're speaking very broad, and it's not. We can't understand what you're like. Can you
one problem
what is a very specific problem?
They're not considering all the pieces of the puzzle when trying to make the decision to divorce or not.
That is like a huge problem. What is the problem behind that problem?
They don't have a clear list of all the values that are important to them in a relationship.
Okay. What is the problem behind that problem?
Lack of clarity. I mean that's lack of awareness.
What is that? What is the problem behind that problem though? Why do they not know what they want in life?
Because they've never been taught how to think about it.
Okay.
They don't write things down. They don't define exactly what it means. They don't take the time to dig deeper. Right.
It's very similar to the solvable problem framework, right? Like trying to figure out what's the solvable problem that exercise that you take them through is a way to reveal what that next micro step needs to be, right? So the problem is they are not clear on what they actually want. But why is it that they're not clear on what they actually want? The problem is they've never been taught that. So your solution is, I'm going to teach you how to do that. So you see how we just backed into that? It's like, what's the problem behind the problem? And you keep going until you can't go back anymore.
And is that enough of a big win? Because, okay, now I know what's important to me, but is that enough for them to feel it's a win that will help them towards the bigger picture, which is getting
Well, let me ask you this. You have to be able to reveal what the bigger problem is the next step. That's the key, right? Because once they figure out what they want, your job is to give them the pathway to solving the next step.
Okay, because it's not enough to know what you want. Now you need to understand what's
more.
That's
the small win. Yeah, the small win is holy shit, I just put down all of my needs and wants into this thing. Because sometimes I'll use Tina and Dan as an example. They were well, I don't know what I need to be doing every day. And so I walked them through what needs to go right this year, what needs to go right this quarter. And they didn't see it until it was all written down. And then the next step actually revealed itself through that exercise. That's what you need to figure out in that exercise that you have your clients do. How does the next big problem reveal itself?
Oh, that makes sense. Thanks for opening up my mind even wider again. So I appreciate your
Yeah.
insight.
Like
The
we
second
need to
question.
get like I think as experts, we think that these smaller problems don't matter. Like we think that our clients already can identify them when in most cases they can't. They can't see the forest for the trees because you ever heard of the expert's curse, right? You can't read the label when you're inside the bottle. That's how most of our clients are. Like to us, all of this stuff is, oh man, our client should already have this done. In most cases, they don't.
Is the rocky road. Yeah, I get it. Okay.
Yep.
Question number 2 that goes now to ads. And again, you had talked about floor and ceiling, but this is really valuable. And I realized, so I have power offer ads, by the way, the most basic one simple text ad with one static image. I'm getting calls booked. I'm actually having a ROAS 5x, which is not too bad. The problem is that I'm attracting too many women who have more time than money and who have no income, right? So, okay,
Yep.
what is my floor? So let's say that now my floor is women who have their own income. They do not necessarily need to be like the CEO, but they need to have at least their own income. And then the ceiling clients would be those high achieving, career driven women and so on. In your ads, do you filter? And I realized is that in my language, I was just addressing only the problem in women, whereas I need to filter out like, you know, most of my clients who are financially independent women or find wording to filter out. So in your ads, do you filter out just for your floor clients because by definition your same clients will be above that? Or do you have several ads, one for floor clients and one that is more targeted to ceiling clients?
Oh, you got to have different variations, and we're actually that's our class for tomorrow.
Okay, so you do have, so one, you identify your floor and ceiling, but you also craft different ads.
Yeah, so if you
those
watch my
different
new power offer training that I posted
I did.
yesterday,
Yeah,
that explains it.
Okay, so that's why you would have the different angles and the different tests and so on. Okay.
Yeah, because each of those is going to be a different angle. And we'll, like I said, we'll talk more, but we'll go way in depth tomorrow.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you, Laurel. You're awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Miss Shelley.
Yeah, this has been helpful, and I also help writers, faith-based authors who want to self-publish. And I realize I think my ideal is, like you said, somebody who's already started writing a book, and they just don't know like the next steps. But I have a workshop, so I follow Sarah and Justin. That's how I found you, and it used to be a webinar, book writing formulas. Then I turned it into a workshop, book writing lab, and it helps them choose their topic, choose their outline, and create a writing plan. And it has always converted really well. I'm wondering if I take pieces of that workshop and say, do you have an outline yet? Or do you have a, first draft yet? Or, the A, B, C, D, E. And I just like give away pieces of that workshop because, it would give them a quick win. I've just been in the mindset of I need to sell it. So I don't know if that's, or if I need to change my funnel, because I've been having, the writing week challenge is to create a consistent 15-minute writing habit to finish your book. But then I think those people are more my floor, and it just takes a really long time then to get them to convert. And so I don't know. I'm just wondering what the best funnel is going to be, or if you have any thoughts on that.
I don't think the funnel is the issue. I think the content that you're covering is the issue. Right? Because like if you're trying to, and that's why I like kind of just like laying out that entire process of, okay, my floor clients are here. Here are all the steps, and then you micro step into this thing over here where it's your ceiling clients and creating the content over here, right? So if I wanted to attract, so think about this, right? If I wanted to attract my ceiling clients, do you think that I would do a webinar on building a funnel?
No.
What would I do? What would I do my webinar on?
Booking calls probably, or $5, I don't know, $5 ads, or I don't know.
Well, I would do it on implementing this one ad sequence that will take you from 2 to 3x ROAS to, right? You see how like it's also kind of repelling to people who are like, oh shit, this is going to be a super advanced lesson. So
Mhm.
I think like most people, it's not necessarily the quote funnel that's the issue, unless you have like budget constraints, right? Because there are obviously some, and we'll go over that on day 3. But
Mhm.
I think most of the time it's because you're creating these workshops because we've all been told to build this funnel and let this big flow of leads come in. Being able to identify, does anyone know the difference between a webinar and a VSL? Or do you guys use them interchangeably? Because I see so many people use them interchangeably, but they're not the same thing. Does anyone know the difference between a VSL and a webinar? Tina, put your hand down. I know you already know.
Oh, okay.
So a webinar would be mostly like it would be teaching and then like a pitch at the end, whereas a VSL is just, mostly sales, right?
Yeah. So Ta said length. That's not necessarily true, right? A VSL is designed for your ceiling clients to get the 2 to 3% of people ready to buy right now. That's why it's called a video sales letter. It is built as a sales mechanism. Challenges and webinars, those are marketing tools. Those are built for high volume. VSLs are built for low volume. So whenever you're trying to get the highest quality of an audience, sometimes we use a marketing mechanism in order to do that. Then we have to sift through all of these people who are not, right? Our marketing funnels are built as a conveyor belt, right? Similar to my power content, right? Those are the 97 to 98%. We need to make sure that we're using the right vehicle in order to get those ceiling clients in.
Yeah, and on my Hot 7, the tour, excuse me, the tour video of my membership is the one that has like 4 conversions on Facebook, and who knows if those stats are correct or not with my Pixel, but because they said, there's limitations on my Pixel. But anyways, that's the one. And it's basically kind of a sales pitch of just like, this is what you get, this is what we offer, this is how we help you. And it has had the most conversions. But I'm wondering, as far as like the bringing new people in, I'm wondering if the content that I'm creating isn't the right content to bring in the right people, because I need to get 15 new members a month is my immediate constraint.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's going to take too long for the floor people to get, to that place. They'll eventually convert. I think next year, if I continue this, I'm just positive. It's like, it's going to be, those
Well,
people
it's
are
a
going to,
conveyor belt. It will
Yeah.
convert. But whenever you need like cash now, those strategies aren't the quickest at getting cash in the
Yeah.
door. That's why I like my power funnel, right? Which is simply just, and we're going to learn that over the next 2 days, is getting the right people in the door, but also making sure that there's still volume there without adding too much friction of a funnel.
Yeah. So I guess my question is, what do you think, what kind of content do you think I should be putting out there to attract those people, those ceiling people ready to buy?
You tell me, because I taught this earlier, so I want to see what you consumed and what you understood.
So my ceiling is people
what would you do?
who are already writing a book, then they've started stop. So same thing as what you were talking to Dana about. So just content about how to finish their book, or
Yeah.
get
So
it done.
Yeah. So if you go through that exercise, right, that I did, the sad face to the smiley face,
Mm-hmm.
all of your content to attract those types of people would probably be your last 2 columns, right? So you should have like 10 steps of the last 2 columns. So that would be all of your content for finishing the book.
Okay. Yeah,
Does that make sense?
I think so.
What is the main, whenever you get someone who is a ceiling client, right? Like they've already started writing the book.
Mhm.
What are the top 5 problems that they're having with finishing?
A lot of them are perfectionists, so they get stuck in self-editing and they just edit and edit and edit and edit and are just not.
100%. That is why I have not released Kiss My ROAS yet, because I am
Yeah.
cycle right now where I have rewritten it like 6
Yep.
times, where my wife is like, "Can we just fucking put it on
You
Amazon?"
just finish it. Yeah. um, it's a lot of mental things, honestly, mindset things, fear of what people are going to think, once they publish. And a lot of my people are sharing their personal stories. So it's like, oh, putting myself out there, and like it's some of that, but then some of it is just like the logistics of how many words do I need, or how many chapters, or I don't know, just some of that stuff too. Or is it good enough? That's another one, so a lot of it's mindset, because anyone can sit down and write, it's just when you get stuck a lot of times.
Yeah. So here, I'll actually show you how you can actually like find those pieces of content. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll just use this as an example, right? So this is like step 1 of this last column, but just pretend it's like your last column, right?
Right.
So whenever I am going to present this mechanism, right? The case sales framework, people are going to have time objections to doing this. They're going to have effort objections to doing that. There's going to be sacrifice
Mm-hmm.
objections to doing that. And there's going to be money objections to doing that, right?
Right.
So this is one piece of content here. This is one piece of content here. This is one piece of content here. And this is one piece of content here, right?
Right.
Now, next we have to take into account that if I'm teaching this, there are 4 different ways that people consume content. It's the 4 A's, right? You guys have heard me say this. There's going to be some people that are going to do it from an analytical frame, the numbers, right? How did my numbers improve? I went from how I'm taking 10 people from 10% to 20%, right? There's going to be some that are going to be aspirational. They're going to want to hear the story of how I took a client, how I took Tina and Dan from 10% to 20%, right? They're going to want to hear the story. There's going to be some people that are just going to be, just tell me how to do it, the actionable. And then there's going to be, and this I think is going to play well for you, the anthropological, human
Right.
behavior, the mindset stuff. But do you see how I just turned this one piece of content into 8?
Yeah. And you're totally right. Like for my Hot 7, the case studies, like when I don't know if is that the aspirational? Those are the
Yeah,
ones.
100% case studies are both aspirational and analytical.
Yeah, but that's the other one that's converting, is one of my case studies. But yeah, so I think, and then another thing when you said money is they don't know, like, is it going to cost, thousands of dollars to self-publish, or, can I get a traditional publisher? So that's some of the things, but the people who want a traditional publisher are not my people. And so that's one thing I do need to weed out, I think, is that in my ads as well.
Yeah. So does anyone want to take a guess over how I determine top of funnel content from middle of funnel content? Anyone want to know my little shortcut?
Yeah.
So you guys are familiar, right? Like what I just did here, right? This is all part of Nick's stealth influence, right? I teach you guys that in phase 1. So you're going to apply this, right? So you saw how I literally just turned one step into 8 pieces of content. Well, you're going to have 8 pieces of content for each of these, right? Follow me? The actionable is typically what I do for top of funnel content. So I'll do the actionable of each of these steps. So that gives me 15 pieces of content. And all of my middle of funnel content are the time, effort, sacrifice, money, analytical, aspirational, and anthropological. Did that make sense to everybody? So my top of funnel content is not different topic wise. It's just the lens that I'm presenting that content. Mr. Mike.
So if I understand correctly, and this is also the example of you guys just discussed, in your case and in her case, the people who are at the floor versus the top of the funnel, it's where they are in terms of the different steps of the process, right? If you have like
Mhm.
3 and then sub steps, usually people who are at the floor are at the beginning and they have to do more steps. So one way for you to target the floor is by giving them content that has to do with the steps at the beginning, versus if you want to target people who are the ceilings, like the last steps. Okay.
Yep, exactly.
But what if though, because in my case, it's not about where they are in the process, the same process for everyone. So that's not something that, at least maybe you'll prove me wrong, but I don't think I can differentiate people in terms of where they are in the process, because they're not anywhere in the process. They're all at step one, top of funnel, bottom of funnel. Top of funnel, but no, top of funnel, bottom of funnel. But ceiling versus floor, it's more defined in terms of maybe education, income level, but not in terms of the steps of the process. Does that make sense?
I guess I think you're missing like a huge part of the process, because I think that your ceiling clients are aware in some, like, I think they're aware of some, like, they're ready to take that next step. Like, I think they are aware. Like, you're going to have people who already know what they want, but they just are like not brave enough to take that next step.
Right, but the process to go from logically knowing to being aligned emotionally, it's the same for everyone. So there's a difference.
I don't agree with that. I don't think it's the same for everybody, because I think there are so many people who are at different places psychologically.
Well, my process aligns their logic with their emotions.
Right. Because like if you have two different clients, I'll just use me, and I'm just looking at Alex Carmelli here, right? So let's say that I am like, okay, cool. Not that I would ever do this. I'm like, you know what? I am going to leave Christina at some point, this year or whatever, right? I've already I already know what I want. We're moving in different directions. I've made my list. I'm just not willing to take that next step. Whereas Alex Carmelli is like, oh, I've just had a baby and I don't know if I should leave. Like I just had, like, blah. So you could have two people who are at different phases. You probably wouldn't start me at the same phase as where you're starting Alex.
Actually, I would, because it's a question of, communicating that to the part of your brain that's the real gatekeeper, which is nonverbal and so on. So what logically, you may be at different phases in terms of some people have a bias towards leaving, some others are confused. So step number one is, if you are confused, I'll get to clarity. But
I understand that, but it's going to take you a lot longer to get through to Alex than it will be for me. Because I don't have, no, because you say that you help people determine whether or not they should leave a relationship. I've already made that decision, and I am way more solution aware than Alex is. So there's going to be two different ways that you're going to have to treat me versus Alex. So you can't talk to us the exact same way. There's going to be some differences.
Okay, I can work with that. But what you're saying is that in that case, it's not so much in just terms, because in terms of the steps of the process, it's the exact same ones. But in terms of where they are, in terms of awareness, that's something that you could talk to them about. Is that what you're saying?
What I'm saying is I'm at a different place than Alex is, right? So I would be like, Alex would probably be more of the floor clients where you're going to be like, look, you don't even know what you want, girl. Like, we're going to have to make this list, where I come to you and I've got this list. I'm like, Mike, I already know like all of this. Like, I just need help getting through the plan of actually executing what I want.
That's not what I do. It's about, you may know it logically, but it's about getting it to actually feel it emotionally.
But
So
I already feel it emotionally.
No, otherwise you have done it. If you felt it logically and emotionally, you would have done it already.
I'm just saying, if you can't determine the difference between Alex and I, you're not explaining what you do clear enough for me. And that's your big problem.
Okay. Because you are you have different stages. One is confused, the other one has a bias. So you may have a bias, she may be confused, she doesn't know whether she can save the relationship or not.
So what is the problem that you actually solve? Because I think you might be communicating.
Getting clarity and certainty, meaning they make the decision with confidence. It's not about knowing what to do, it's about feeling it is the right decision on every level. with your head, with your heart, with your gut. So even if you know what to do, if you haven't done it, it means you have some resistance. And I help you align all parts of you, of your brain, head, heart, and gut, so that you know, okay, now I have it, I can have peace of mind, and I'm going to move through. But it's like aligning, it's like unlocking a lock. You may have one number right, but you need the 3 numbers in order to open the lock.
Correct. So what am I, so exactly like, what am I, if I give you, like, how much is your program?
It goes from 1,200 to 3K.
What's the difference between the 1,200 and the 3K?
1,200 is done with you, 3K is done for you. In 2 sessions, you'll get the clarity.
So what is the difference between the mindset of the person who's going to pay 1,200 versus the 3K?
It's usually either a question of income or a question of they really like to get more involved in the process and understand and learn versus getting me to do all the heavy lifting.
I don't think that the main difference is income. I think a lot of people think that income is like a differentiator, and it's really not in most cases. So like from your experience, what is really the difference between the people who do the higher one versus the done with you?
In my experience, has been income. They could either make, and again, it's probably because I have not been filtering enough for the floor prospects, so income was an issue for them. But it was mostly income. Some people say, no, I like to get my hands on and kind of go through the process. But in the end, really, it's the done for you that's the fast way to go.
No one has ever said that they want to go. No one wants to buy a process. I will say that. Like, no one, like, you might think that they want to go through the process, but they want what's on the other side of that process. And
Right,
so that's
but
what
going through the process
that's what I'm
will-
trying to get you to, like, that's what I'm trying to pull out. No one wants to buy the plane, right? We all want to buy the destination. You're telling me that they're wanting to buy the plane, and I don't believe that.
Well, I think you're right. And there's also the factor that if they go through a process, they acquire a skill for decision making that they will be able to apply in other areas of their lives. So that may be one thing, which is not only about getting the immediate result of the clarity, but also how to become a decision
So
making.
I would not get that with the 3K?
Probably not. No, you'll just get the result with the 3K.
How does one work without the other?
So let's say that they're done for you, you come into my ad account and you do all the ads for me, you set it up, and I get the result, right? Whereas if I do the lean on Laurel, I have to come up with my own copy, you review it. I will eventually get there, it will take me longer, but at the same time, I have learned the process. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I don't understand how that translates into human. Like, you can't go into their brain without them doing some work.
Yeah. I take them through the steps, but they will not be able to replicate those steps by themselves if they wanted to apply the process to another decision, just because they have gone through it once.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's the question that we're trying to answer?
That's a good, yeah, it was, the content was defined by where people found themselves in the process, either, at the beginning of either in step 1 or at the end in step 3. In my case, the process is similar for everybody. So my question was, what if, in that case, that's not a differentiator for content in terms of ceiling versus floor? To me, it's more either education level or income level to distinguish between floor prospects versus ceiling prospects, not where they're at in terms of the entire journey.
Well, that's what I'm saying. The education level is exactly what I was saying a while ago. That's the difference between, like, when you use the difference between Alex and I. I need less education than Alex would have, right?
No, but sorry. What I mean by education is like education level, maybe, I don't know, college degree or ability to do some mental reasoning in one way or another, or ability
I don't think education and income is different. Like, I don't believe that.
Because one goes with the other, usually, is that what you're saying?
Because I do think that there's differences between your clients. And I know we're just going around in circles, so I'm going to move on here. But I think that you're missing the forest for the trees with your clients. And I think maybe you need to just kind of sit with some of your best ceiling clients and your your other clients, your floor clients, and just kind of like compare the two in where they were when they came and started working with you versus what their journey was like as far as making them aware of that solution. That's what I would do. I would literally sit down and I bet you that there is more than just education and income differences.
Okay, I want other people to be able to ask you questions, so I'll mute on that. Thanks, Laura.
But I
Appreciate it.
would, but that's what I would do. That's what I do. And this is a great process for everyone to go through. Like, if you are trying to figure out like what are the different problems that I need to help people solve, like sit with like 10 of your ceiling clients and just kind of like think back, like what were the characteristics of this person who came to me and man, it was such a breeze to get them results. Why was that? Right? And man, these 10 people, we got them the result, but man, it was hard. What are the characteristics of that person? I'm guaranteeing you guys are going to see stuff that you didn't see before.
Okay, that's a great way to think about it. Thanks.
Right? And so to Mike's point, right? I'll use Lean on Laurel as an example, right? My Lean on Laurel like program wasn't set up the way that it is right now. So now there is a done for you setup, right? People come in 30 days, their entire thing is set up. That's something that I offer now. The reason that I offer that now is because I sat down and I was like, okay, what are all of the steps that I'm teaching inside Lean on Laurel? And why are people not getting this up in X amount of time? Oh, they're scared of the freaking ads manager. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to add an option to where like they can just select. I go and do it all while they're learning the entire process, right? I would have never really added that as a component of my program if I wouldn't have sat with myself and been like, why are people not getting the results in the time frame that I want them to? Does that make sense? And so that's why that's a super powerful exercise. And that's how our programs evolve too, because we have to evolve because the market changes, sophistication changes. Let's see, making sure I'm getting all of the questions. Did anyone have a question that didn't get answered before I start going through all of the? Clara.
Hi, I wanted to clarify something you shared earlier,
Yeah.
where you were saying the action builder template tended to be the one you use top of funnel.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and so I've been working my way through, writing scripts. And when you said that, I was like, oh, okay. For example, I had written something using the problem solver template, and I was moving on to a different topic for the action builder template. But then you're like, oh, I didn't have to change the topic. I just changed like the lens that I talked about it in. So in terms of priority, then I felt like I should take the same topic for the problem solver and just run it through the different lenses of anthropological, humanist, blah, 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 before switching to another topic. I just need to say that
Well,
to
so
make sure
here's,
if I...
yeah, no, for sure. And I don't want you guys to get lost with all of the different names of the templates. Like the problem solver, the action taker, it's still an actionable way to show people how to do it because you're revealing the problem and showing them how to fix it. So it's still actionable.
Oh, okay.
It's just a different template and a different lens to do the same piece of content in a slightly different way. That's why there's different that's why there's different templates that I give you guys, is just so that you guys can say the same piece of content in a couple of different ways.
I think what unlocked for me though is if my topic was about what was my topic about? I was talking basically about like how you can decide how to revamp your course outline, right? Because that's one of the initial steps I need someone to take to even want to refilm their course, right? Like, what do you actually want to do that's new? And so I'd written the script already using one of the templates. And I think now when you said that, it's like, let me just not switch to a completely different topic, stick with the same course outline thing and just focus on the scripts through the other lenses.
Yep.
And I think that's the smarter play. And when I go through the other lenses, like anthropological, humanistic, etc., did you mean for those to still be other lenses for power content, or are those other lenses for conversion multipliers, or both? It doesn't matter.
Or both. It doesn't matter. Like whether it's like a written power post, whether it's a conversion multiplier, I just think of like, because like everyone is just drawn into the actionable stuff, and it's really easy to make actionable stuff super short, right? And so like let's say I like for my example, right? I'm teaching the case framework. Here's how you can close more sales calls this week, right? And I do that. And then I'm like, okay, cool. That's going to attract my ceiling client. But now I know that there's going to be time, effort, sacrifice, money, objections, but then there's also going to be different ways that people consume content. And so I might say, hey, I might run it through the analytical. Here's how I'm able to take people who are only closing less than 10% of their sales calls into 20% using a 5-line sales call framework or something like that, right? That might be more of the analytical. The next version, I might say, hey, here's how my client Clara was able to use a very simple framework in order to take her business from, less than 5K a month to 20K a month, right? It's telling the aspirational journey. And then it might be anthropological. Here's why 80% of online business owners will never close a single sales call. Anthropological, human behavior.
I got it. And as you were talking, I was like, okay, I replaced what you said, like, okay, these are the different ways I could talk about a course outline in those different lenses. I think that will be faster for me.
Yes. And you're still it's the same information.
Okay.
It's just from a different angle. That's why, like, have you guys noticed anytime I do these blitzes, I'm doing it from a different lens? I'm never doing, even though the blitz is the same over and over again, I'm doing it from a different lens every single time. That's because all of you guys who are sitting in the room, you're consuming content. You're just consuming 10% of what I'm saying every blitz. And so I'm changing things up so that you're extracting all of the different ways that you could actually implement the same thing. Yeah, so Wendy just asked, time, effort, sacrifice, money is middle of funnel. What would be bottom of funnel? Here's the way that I do bottom of funnel. I don't think content is a great conversion mechanism for bottom of funnel. I think interaction and inception is a great way to convert people bottom of funnel. That's just my the way that I think of it, bottom of funnel, because bottom of funnel are people who are already like you guys are all my bottom of funnel, right? You've bought the $7 program, you've bought this program, right? If I want to drag you into Lean on Laurel or drag you to an event, like I'm probably going to have more in-person interaction with you. I don't think a piece of content is going to convince you to come to an event, right? I think this more is going to convince you to come to an event than any piece of content. Does that make sense? Scott.
Hey, so this, I've kind of revamped or kind of got back into all this stuff. I've done it not very good before. So over like December and kind of January. So just quick question, as I kind of go through my steps, like, so let's say, so they don't always go sequentially, like I mean, different parts, but like one of them is like to grow your contact list. So there's obviously multiple ways people can do that. So it's almost like you just create a bunch of different content, like you almost filter those off in there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the question?
That's pretty much it. I was just like being like, I'm very analytical, I think sometimes. So I was like,
Oh,
should
yeah.
I like create contact lists and we just do one thing, or just like we can have all these splinters off, because different parts of it kind of splinter off. So I'm like, it's fine to, I guess I'm just asking, like, yes, Scott, you're on the right track.
Yeah, no, definitely. Like if you guys notice, like I do the same pieces of content over and over again. I'm just telling a different aspirational element to it. But I teach the same stuff over and over again. But I try to hit those 4 lenses, the aspirational, anthropological, in addition to meeting those time objections, money objections, sacrifice objections, effort objections as much as possible.
Okay. I think I was just, I was probably just trying to find an excuse not to do it as I say it.
Oh my God. Like we're all like, I always like, I've been sick and I'm like, oh, I'm not going to do content. And yesterday I sat there with a stuffy nose and I was like, fuck it. I'm going to do a piece of content. And I put it out there But all of us have that we're like, I'm going to make every excuse to not do something.
Perfect. Thank you. That was it. Literally.
Yeah, like we'll leave with this, and I know you guys want more ways to actually we'll get into it. I'm gonna put that in tomorrow's plan since we're kind of running out of time today. But one of the things that you guys want to do for tomorrow is make sure that you go through this exercise that we did today, so that tomorrow, because I'm going to show you guys how to create like infinite amounts of content in addition to infinite amounts of offers, we're going to build off the stuff that we did today. Oh, Scott said, by the way, I signed up for a chamber during the call. Awesome. It's amazing. Yeah, Dana, you could ask a quick question.
I hope it's my final question. Okay, so as I turtle my way through the content, like I'm doing I'm gonna do what you say to do now for tomorrow, and I'm filling in the content Bible. Should I should I be still posting stuff on my Facebook page or doing something now? Because I don't, and I feel like when you tell me to start creating content, I'm gonna be like, they're gonna say, "Who is she?
Yeah,
Where
you
did she come
should.
from?"
You have to start somewhere.
Right.
Right?
So,
Like
so just like
even I had my first video where my friends and family were like, what the fuck is she doing? My mom to this day thinks I get paid by Facebook to do videos. I'm like, well, not even close, but I'll let her think that because it's easier than explaining to her what I gave her my book. I don't even think she's read it.
And so should I place it on like my personal and my business?
Place it everywhere.
Everywhere. Okay.
Like I will whenever I first started working with Nick, by the way, if you guys like in the $7 program and in Success Finder, I just dropped a link. Nick and I are going to be doing, starting on Sunday morning, and then Monday and Tuesday, we're going to do a 3-day sales and marketing training. It's free. So if you guys want to come in and jam with Nick and I in the morning, I highly recommend it. But, I forgot where I was going with that. I was about to say Nick. So whenever I first started working with Nick in October of 2019, he was like scrolling through my YouTube channel, and he's like, "Are you paying attention to your YouTube channel?" He's like, "These numbers are pretty freaking good." And I was like, "Oh no." I was like, "I just put all my lives on my YouTube channel." He's like, "I think you should start paying attention to your YouTube channel because 1, you're about to be able to get monetized, and 2, your hold rate on these videos is amazing. Like the engagement rate that people are like actually sticking, right? For the amount of subscribers and hours viewed, he's like, this is phenomenal." And so I would have never known that YouTube was that if I wouldn't have been putting my videos there. So even if you're just like on LinkedIn, I just schedule all my stuff. I don't like being on LinkedIn. I'm not on LinkedIn. I just make sure my content goes there. I use a tool called Metricool. I just schedule all of my stuff. The only thing that I manually post on is my Facebook profile, and I have conversations on Instagram. But everything else is like automatic, goes straight to those platforms. Anyone else got anything before we go? Everyone's good?
I have a quick question.
Yeah, what's up?
Just wanted to clarify exactly what you meant by being ready for tomorrow. Like you said, knock out what you talked about. Can you just run through that really quick?
Yeah, so if you go through the exercise that we did today for tomorrow, that would be awesome.
The floor, ceiling, and then the steps. Is that?
Yep.
Okay. Cool. Got it. Thanks.
Yep. Well, awesome. I feel a coughing fit coming on, so I'm definitely going to leave you guys for tomorrow, but I will see you guys bright and early. Thanks for having coffee with me this morning, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.